People would have laughed at you if you had told them a decade ago that they can't overprice their home. The internet has made it easier than ever to learn just about anything you want. So with all this content and information available, how did you know which ones to learn from and which ones actually work? Luckily for you, core member, for today's video, we will be talking about the dangers of overpricing your home. This is part 2 of a 2-part series for the dangers of overpricing your home. If you haven't watched the first part yet, there would be a link down below or would pop up on top. Remember that while the first step is completing any of this amazing information, the second and possibly more important step is taking action, even if it's imperfect action. You run the risk of receiving less money for your house than you would have if you initially priced it fairly. According to a Zillow study, houses that sit on the market for a long time usually sell for much less than their asking price. Buyers believe they have plenty of room to haggle when a house is on the market for a long time. You spend more money the longer your house is on the market. Every month that your house isn't sold, you spend money on utilities, mortgage payments, and other home costs that you'll never get back. Keep your home pricing reasonable. Look for a reputable real estate agent and pay attention to their pricing suggestions. Many people will tell you that it's preferable to list a little bit lower and spark a bidding war than to take a chance on all the issues that listing too high brings. Keep your pricing reasonable and you'll be successful in selling your house. We have witnessed and heard it all over the years from some home sellers who have unreasonably high expectations for the value of their property. They will disregard the appraisal that the real estate agent gave them and instead think of every possible justification for why their house isn't selling. We have been selling real estate for 30 years, and during that time, we have heard some of the wackiest requests from sellers whose properties don't sell. The blame will be placed on the realtor rather than admitting their home is overpriced, which is obviously the case. Here is a lighthearted look at what occurs when real estate pricing issues arise. Despite the fact that this is a humorous look at the world of real estate pricing and may seem a little unrealistic, some of these things are actually true. One thing is certain when a home is overpriced: everyone involved will experience stress. The price that is set for your home accounts for 75% of real estate marketing, so keep that in mind if you remember nothing else after reading this. A home that is overpriced won't sell no matter how much marketing and advertising there is. The rest of your marketing will be useless if you don't price your home correctly. Overpricing your home may turn potential buyers off. Real estate agents should be assisting most buyers, and most of them are able to tell right away if a home is overpriced. Agents will examine nearby comparable homes, and if your home is significantly more expensive than those, it will raise concerns. One of our mentors asserts that buyers typically avoid making offers on homes that are overpriced. They are very careful not to offer more than they believe the item is worth, but lowballing is not an option because they are worried about upsetting the seller or looking foolish. They believe that the seller would have set the price lower if they were really willing to accept less. If your home is overpriced, it will take a lot longer to sell. Time is your enemy in real estate. How long has this property been listed on the market? Is one of the first queries a buyer's agent will make. Please be advised that it is unwise to let a property accumulate days on the market, even if you are not in a rush to sell your home or believe you can lower the price later. According to statistics, a listing receives 4 times as much traffic in the first 2 weeks of being on the market. as it does over the course of that time, says Lambert. This is why the initial 2 weeks are so important. Lambert cautions that once a listing has been on the market for a certain period of time, there's the stigma of being a stale listing. If your home is priced too high, you run the risk of missing out on the initial traffic surge, resulting in home being on the market for longer than it needs to be. Buyers assume there is a problem when a house has been on the market for too long, especially when others are selling. Beware of the yes man is the word of advice. When interviewing prospective listing agents, be wary of those who will accept any price you request or who will suggest a listing price that is significantly higher than others in an effort to win your business. Sincerely, that is the oldest trick known to man. Some real estate agents may attempt to entice you by making inflated sale price promises in the knowledge that this will increase their appeal to you. While other agents may not be deliberately trying to mislead you, they may feel uncomfortable telling you the truth about the asking price of your home. You also don't want that. Good real estate agents will be upfront with you about the expected listing price of your home. You should be able to support your list price with real concrete data. If not, your home is probably overpriced, and not because it is a highly unique property with no nearby comparables. This is a time waster for everyone and will result in your home remaining on the market for several months, which will end up costing you money. One of the most important factors in getting your listing to sell is competitive pricing. If you absolutely must have a higher price, think about making upgrades that will increase the worth of your house. A few minor adjustments can have a big impact. Your real estate agent can advise you on the changes that will result in the greatest value increase in your neighborhood. The seller believes their home is worth more than its market value, which is a problem that frequently arises during a consultation. But I'm not telling you to pass up an expensive listing. In actuality, you ought to accept these exorbitant listings. Do agents need to accept overpriced listings? The first thing to think about is why your seller really wants to sell their house. In order to understand their motivation, conduct a thorough and detailed needs analysis. For overpriced listings, you must get your client past the "I don't need to sell" objection. You must fire them as a client if they can't move past it. They will look bad, and ultimately, you as their agent will look bad if the overpriced listing goes on the market and stagnates because it is so widely overpriced. The risk is too great. Your seller needs to be driven. You'll rely on this drive to guide them towards the best price choice. While some agents are hesitant to accept them, others do so with assurance. It can be challenging to work with a seller who is determined to list their home for more than it is worth, but there are ways to make sure that everyone succeeds. Follow these instructions on how to pre-qualify listings, inform sellers, and more if you're up for the challenge of selling an overpriced home. Informing sellers about fair market value. Some agents try to lure in new customers by promising to list properties for exorbitant prices. This may appear to be a good strategy to employ if you want to draw in new customers, but it is unethical and will only result in problems in the future. Focus on education rather than trying to impress a seller with an outrageous price. Providing sellers with recent market data and statistics is one of the best ways to demonstrate to them why you believe a home should be listed at a particular price. Compile a report that includes the price range, the number of comparable homes that are currently listed in the area, and the average number that sell each month. This will give a realistic evaluation of the time and effort needed to sell the house. Create a schedule for price adjustments. When attempting to sell an overpriced listing, this strategy may just save your life. The home is initially listed at the seller's preferred price, and after a specified period of time or number of showings, the asking price is gradually lowered. Here is a helpful script you can use to explain this strategy to sellers if you think this will be a difficult conversation to have. Updates and fixes have value. Even if the neighbor's home was objectively nicer, some sellers are dead set on getting the same price their neighbor did for their house. You'll need to persuade the owner in these situations to either upgrade their home or reduce the asking price. In order for your sellers to understand how landscaping can make or break a deal, educate them on the significance of curb appeal. Additionally, letting sellers know that they don't always have to spend a lot of money improving their home can be beneficial. Before listing, review this to-do list and suggest projects that will add value. Bear in mind that sellers determine prices, not agents. Put yourself in the right frame of mind and remember that the seller is ultimately in charge of setting a price because you work for them. You can advise them, educate them, and provide information, but ultimately the homeowner must make the choice. You have a fiduciary duty to give wise counsel, but you can't compel someone to follow it. Overpriced listings can be difficult to work with, which is why many agents steer clear of them. It's perfectly acceptable to decline the listing if you believe the hassle is not worth the commission. The issue with expensive listings. It's critical that your client comprehends the drawbacks of overpricing their home. They need to experience firsthand how it might ultimately harm their chances of receiving a competitive offer. For instance, buyers may notice an overpriced listings and wonder, what's wrong with this house? If it remains on the market for too long, why hasn't it already been sold? That will discourage many potential buyers from even visiting the house. Your client needs to understand that pricing their home at market value is the best way for them to sell it for more money than it is worth. Right now, there is little available inventory and there is a lot of demand from buyers. There is a feeding frenzy of purchasers for the majority of market value listings that hit the market. This inevitably raises the price, but you will receive more offers if your listing is priced competitively. You must thoroughly explain everything to your client, and it's fairly straightforward. Show them instances of listings that started at a reasonable price and eventually sold for more than they were listed for. Show them some examples of houses that they have been on the market for too long and have had to lower their prices. The best thing you can do for your sellers at times is to give them examples they can see for themselves. It's a good idea to remind your seller of your qualifications as a realtor whenever you are having an awkward conversation with them about their overpriced listing. I'm here to assist you in selling your home. Could I be frank with you? Such a conversation starter gives you the opportunity to be brutally honest regarding the overpriced listing. Help them understand that you are on their side and that you truly want to sell their home for the highest possible price. After offering them their counsel based on your experience, you can reassure them that you are there for them regardless of the decisions they make. However, I want you to enter it aware of the risks you are taking and that taking a chance like this may not be a good idea. Consider the expensive listing. Recently, we have pushed our coaching clients to accept more overpriced listings because sometimes they turn out well, I suppose. This is one of many peculiar things we are seeing in this unheard of marketplace. You must be aware of market developments because this is not always the case. However, there is always the chance of running into an appraisal issue if the overpriced listing does sell, so you need to be cautious of that. Another potential problem to mention to your seller is this one. And that's it for this video, core member. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon!